wants to come back home to angry neighbors due to barking and crying, to destruction and house soiling? Oh yeah, and a poor, anxious dog. So that's why I wanted to see what Dr. Kate Adams from the TV series Bondi Vet had to say about a dog with suspected separation anxiety, and to add some tips of my own. So let's put some shrimp on the Barbie. I'm not good at accents. Even my own accent keeps changing.
So Brucey's been struggling a little bit with some anxiety.
Yeah, what we really notice it is like obviously right now, but when we're leaving the house,
Yes.
putting his shoes on, put a hat on or something like that to go for a
Yes.
run, you can see his mood changes.
Yes.
So he really starts to get anxious. You can see the build. And then once the door's closed, there's just this noise that just comes out of it.
Okay, there are some important features of separation anxiety. Getting ready to leave can already signal the dog that he's going to be alone, so the behavior changes. Also, once the dog is alone, he starts whining or barking. But this is still not enough to diagnose separation anxiety because dogs can whine for other reasons like attention-seeking behavior, a frustration of not being able to reach the owners that are outside, and more. Also, not all dogs with separation anxiety will vocalize excessively. Sadly, many times the owners will only know that the dog has separation anxiety when the neighbors are complaining. So dogs that don't vocalize are sometimes not even diagnosed.
Bruce's anxiety probably comes from a few places. You know, it wasn't till 6 months till these guys adopted him from the shelter. We don't know what kind of a background that Bruce had. When I first saw him, he was really thin, he was really neglected. And I think that that has a large part in this particular case.
True, anxiety can come from different places, and we don't always know if it's more nature or nurture. Is it genetics or is it environment and past experiences? Sickness and abuse at a young age can definitely affect behavior, but even that is not true for all dogs.
We were struggling and getting anxious ourselves to leave the house, or we had to tiptoe around. It got to a point where, it was really challenging for the both of us.
And that is when most owners usually seek advice, when it affects them. I'm not saying this in a judgmental way, because not everyone knows that there are things to do to help with the problem and have both dog and owners gain a higher quality of life. But there are things to do. Don't wait if you think your dog might be suffering.
He would be walking around all the time thinking, oh my gosh, I'm going to get left. That constant worry and that constant anxiety, he can't live like that.
Well, we can't really say that they are thinking, oh my gosh, I'm gonna get left. First, maybe dogs are atheists, so they will not think, oh my gosh. Second, maybe it's not that they are thinking that the owners are not going to come back. Maybe they're just stressed from being alone right now, meaning they're not really thinking about the future, but about the present. It doesn't really matter for the treatment. I just wanted to say that we don't really know what dogs are thinking.
So what I'm going to do is put cameras inside and out near the gate, and then we're going to exit and we're going to see what happens when we go. Okay?
Yeah.
So let's put some cameras up.
Sounds good.
Yes, this is the first step. Put some cameras around the house and go. But it is important to really go and not just stand outside. Your dog can probably hear and smell you there. They can even tell if you got into the car and drove off because they can tell the sound of the car's engine pretty fast. Also, do this for at least 30 to 60 minutes, just once for the diagnosis. It is best to do it with a camera you can watch with your phone because if your dog is doing something dangerous, you want to be able to react fast.
Okay, we've got our last little camera, you guys. We're going to get Bruce outside.
Sounds good.
Come on,
buddy.
Brucey.
Let's go.
Why outside? If the dog is outside, it complicates everything because there are so many other triggers that can cause him to pace, run, whine, and bark. This will make a diagnosis of separation anxiety difficult. The owner did mention that even getting ready to leave will cause the dog to be anxious. If the dog is always outside when they leave, then maybe he becomes anxious because he knows they're going to lock him out of the house. That is not separation anxiety.
You can already see Bruce is very anxious. Not happy about us going.
Yeah, it's fun.
Oh my goodness. This is worse than I expected.
Yeah, it's pretty painful. It's hard to hear as an owner.
Oh, it's bad.
Why are they staying there? Didn't you listen when I said you need to actually leave the area because your dog knows you're there? If they stay there and the dog is locked in the yard, they can't judge correctly what's going on.
The other neighbors are yelling at him, so
Yeah.
it's become a neighborhood issue, not just the house now.
Yep, as I said, when it affects the owners, they seek help. No judgment. It's good they are seeking help. Maybe a little bit of judgment.
I'm honestly surprised that he hasn't hurt himself.
Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. We're waiting for that.
And if he hasn't hurt himself by now, he's going to.
Yeah, what's the matter?
It's only a matter of time.
Not true. It really depends on the cause for the behavior and what the dog is doing. I really can't say that the dog will hurt himself, but maybe Dr. Adams has more information to support this claim.
The most important thing to remember, work on your basic training. Bruce has never been to puppy school. He has no idea how to sit, stay, wait, any of these really basic things that dogs of Bruce's age need to know. So we need to start there.
Sorry, what? What does basic training have to do with separation anxiety? If a person has anxiety of being in public places, teaching him how to speak in Spanish is going to help with the anxiety? Probably not. Probablemente no.
The second part of this is, as soon as you walk through the door and he jumps all over you, no attention until such times as you feel like he's quite calm.
Okay.
The other important part of this is no attention 30 minutes before you leave. That's the time that you need to start ignoring.
Right.
If we look at the scientific literature, there are contradicting conclusions about what she just said. So ignoring the dog before or after you leave might not really do anything. It might actually signal the dog that you're going to leave 30 minutes before instead of just before and increase the stress.
So this is a Snuffle Mat. They look bizarre, but they're very helpful. And what you do is you hide treats all in here, right? And he has to snuffle around and try and find all of the treats.
Good boy.
Okay.
Really what we want to do is keep him occupied for that 30 minutes after you leave, right? Because that's the window that he's so anxious.
Oh, so he's anxious for only 30 minutes after they leave? Then it might not be separation anxiety. Using a Snuffle Mat is a great idea, but most dogs with real separation anxiety will not eat anything the second the owners leave, or will eat really fast and start the anxious-related behaviors.
That's going to take a little while to get to a point that they can actually leave the house, but it may mean they can actually go to the toilet on their own.
I do agree with that. You do want to work on your dog's independence from the owners. The dog should be able to be away from the owners even when they are home and not be a Velcro dog. But many dogs can be away from the owners as long as they know they are in the same house with them. The second they leave the house is when the problems start.
This was a total success. Bruce loves food and he loves that Snuffle Mat. And every time we do this, we just increase the amount of time that we leave for just that little bit longer. And over time, Bruce will realise that people will come back.
If it was that easy, I would be out of a job.
This is not a short-term fix. This is going to be something that we have to manage for a long time, and it's going to take a while to get us on track. There's also a genetic component.
Okay.
And the only way we're going to be able to have a chance at changing that is by using medication.
Medications treat the anxiety component. It doesn't matter if it is genetic or another reason. Also, sometimes with short and fast-acting medications, you can reduce the anxiety and get a short-term fix. But medications are not magic, so you should consult a veterinary behaviorist on the best and complete treatment for your dog.
Just because he's on medication doesn't mean he's going to stay on medication for his whole life. When we see an improvement and we think we're getting there, we can start potentially thinking about weaning him off.
Okay.
True, not all dogs will need to stay on meds forever, but some will, and there is no problem with it. Behavior medications are usually used off-label in animals. That means that either not enough research was published, or that no pharmaceutical company wanted to spend the millions of dollars needed to label it for a specific use. But for separation anxiety, we actually have veterinary medications that were approved by the FDA. Check this video to learn more about it.